One last thing here. A box to carry your sister during the day, built from a very light wood called kirikumo cedar.
Nezuko, how you doing? Okay. Rest up, Nezuko.
Hi, today I'm going to be building Nezuko's travel box from Demon Slayer. Big thank you to Hank Flitz for the suggestion. If any of you guys have ideas of what you want me to make next, feel free to let them rock down in the comments. I already have a pretty big list and I'm trying to get through as many as I can, but if I happen to use your suggestion, I'll be sure to give you a shout out. Now, as you probably heard in the clip, this build specifically calls for kirikumo cedar, but unfortunately it doesn't really grow here in Western Canada because the climate isn't quite right and also it doesn't exist. Luckily, your run-of-the-mill Western red cedar is something we have in great abundance, so I'm gonna use that instead. The first step is to run my cedar planks over the jointer, so I can make sure I'm starting off with a nice flat surface. Then, because I want this box to be light, I'm running them through the planer a few times, so I'm left with pieces that are a little thinner than normal, about half an inch. Then it's over to the table saw to cut my pieces down to width. These three tools are the cornerstones of the woodshop. Jointer, planer, table saw. Almost any project I ever do starts here. Now that I've got my pieces, it's time to turn these planks into panels. I'm doing this with your standard glue and clamp operation. Nothing fancy. Once the glue dries, the panels get sanded and then cut down to their finished lengths. And just like that, we've got the makings of our box. When it comes to the actual construction of the box and the strategies and joinery techniques I'm gonna use, it's gonna depend on a few variables, like how strong does it have to be? How much weight does it actually have to carry? Actually, let's just get that out of the way. I'm just gonna do a little bit of research. How strong of a box to hold average 12-year-old? I'm just gonna go with my best guess. I'm going with a pretty straightforward joint here, just cutting out a rebate on the router table for the top and bottom pieces to slot into. Then each piece gets one more pass on the router for the box's back panel. Time to put this thing together. I'm assembling the box using a combination of wood glue and pressure fits. No screws, nails, or any other kind of fasteners required. I used the exact same panel making process to build the door, but it's still the wrong color. Nothing a little stain won't fix. The box itself gets a coat too. Now for the easy part. I'm gonna use thin sheets of metal to make the box's reinforcement and accent pieces. I'm gonna make the bulk of the cuts on the table saw, after making sure to sub in the right type of blade. Cutting wood and metal are two very different things. I'm using a combination of grippy gloves and push sticks to make sure that my hands don't have to get anywhere near that blade. After a few more cuts, I'm left with a nice little collection of these scary, jagged, essentially razor blades. Why did I think this would be the easy part? I don't know how to work with metal. This is terrifying. But a wise man once said, we have nothing to fear but fear itself, and also sharp, jagged pieces of metal. So I'm taking my razor blades to the belt sander to clean them up and hopefully make them a bit less dangerous. I'd say that's mission accomplished. Time for a little paint job. The metal on the box is all black, so every piece I make has to get a coat of spray paint, just like so. I made up a bunch more strips, and after painting them as well as the hinges I'm gonna use, I realized that I left behind some nice spray paint tan lines. But the nice thing about painting on wood is that it cleans up easy. Now for the part of the build that I was by far the least confident about. I sketched out the door's corner accents, but I never really thought about how I was gonna actually cut them out. But I ended up settling on putting an angle grinder in my bench vise and using it as kind of a makeshift metal cutting bandsaw. And I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised. Once I combined it with the belt sander, I actually ended up with something I was really happy with. But then there was the issue of the inside of the circle. I decided that my only option was to cut the pieces in half and then put them back together again later, having cut out one semicircle at a time. Again, with a little help from the sander, it actually turned out amazing. Guys, metalworking is fun. Was I, in my heart of hearts, a metalworker all along? I feel like this might awaken something in me. Thanks for being here with me on this journey of self-discovery. I appreciate it. I'm almost done with the metal, but the box has these little kind of corner braces, and I have no way of precisely bending things into shape, so I have to cut about 10,000 little individual pieces and then assemble them all down the line. Last step before putting this thing all together is to cut some inlays for the hinges. Perfect. Okay, assembly time. First up is the door. I'm keeping things simple and just using super glue to attach the metal to the wood. I could use something stronger like epoxy, but super glue dries crazy fast, which is going to be essential here. I'm just going one piece at a time, corner by corner, until all the pieces are in place. And this is pretty much the process for the rest of the accents. I'm just going through piece by piece, applying the glue, and putting things in their new home. I gotta say, all these little parts and pieces were definitely not equal in difficulty. The corner brackets were especially challenging. Perfectly lining up 3 tiny parts, knowing that you have about 20 seconds before the glue dries and your pieces are ruined is a whole new level of stressful, but somehow got through it relatively unscathed. After attaching the base of the door handle, there's just one more touch that these metal accents need. In the source material, the accents seem to be attached using some kind of nails or rivets, so I'm recreating that appearance by drilling holes in the metal and then adding some nice wide-headed roofing nails. There are a few more spots on the box that get the same treatment. The door handle itself gets attached by drilling through the metal in the exact same way. Plus a bit more paint, for accuracy's sake. Okay, only thing left is the shoulder straps. I picked up some inexpensive white webbing to use for this, and after squaring off the ends, it's just a matter of cutting them down to length with some scissors. I'm doing kind of a double attachment system here. First, I mixed up some 2-part epoxy. I'm using that to provide some initial strength to the joint and keep the straps in place, but I don't have a ton of experience using epoxy to bond fabrics, so I decided to add some mechanical screws as well, just to make sure the straps wouldn't go anywhere. Then it's just a matter of attaching the door, and this baby's done.